welcome. Thank you for having me. So, as Sam said, I'm a naturopath, I'm an author, but more importantly, I'm a mum. I'm a mum to 2 children, but one of them, at 8 weeks old, was injured by a vaccine, which then made me start researching, and I haven't stopped since. So for 13 years, I've been researching vaccines. So that means I'm very passionate about medical freedom, body autonomy, and the right to make an informed choice. Because what I know to be true is we aren't told everything we need to make an informed choice. And what we're seeing right now is all the things that I've been talking about for 10 years. You won't be told the truth, stats and facts will be hidden from you, and everything is a coincidence and a cover-up. So with a vaccine-injured child, it's quite easy for me to make a decision regarding the COVID vaccine. Obviously, it's going to be a no-no. I'm not anti-vax, I'm an ex-vaxxer that was badly let down by a system. I'm pro-choice. If you want to have your jab, I'm happy for you, but don't force me or my children to take it. To make a decision on vaccines, you're going to have to know some facts, and these are not facts you're going to find on the BBC, I'm sorry to tell you, because the mainstream media is funded by the pharmaceutical companies that are pushing the jabs. 86% of children suffered an adverse reaction in the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine in the clinical trial. 86%. The Joint Committee of Vaccines and Immunisation refused to recommend COVID vaccines for children because they said there was no medical benefit. But them guys in the Houses of Parliament that have been following the science all this time decided to override that decision and do it anyway. Why? Because it might benefit their mental health. Oh, is that the mental health that you destroyed by taking everything they know away from them? And it might also benefit them from missing out on education. Is that the education you took away from them because you keep getting them to test even though they haven't got any symptoms? GPs are paid an additional monetary incentive for vaccinating a child. It's £12.58 per vaccine for an adult, it's an additional £10 for a child. So that you think they've pushed for your adult jabs, wait till you see how much they're going to push the children's jabs. It's money to them.
Who's lost their body?
Children have died and are being injured from the COVID-19 vaccine. Look on the vaccine adverse events reporting system, which is coming out of America, where they've already started vaccinating under 18s. And I can tell you that over 1,000 have already died. 1,000 under 18s in America have already died from receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. And somewhere there are parents that believe that they were doing the right thing. In contrast, in the UK, there was 25 under 18 deaths in the UK between March 2020 and February 21 of COVID-19 of under 18s, but all of them had underlying medical conditions or comorbidities. So we've got 25 children dying in a year in the UK, and we've got 25 children dying weekly from the jab in the US. There's been more deaths in 8 months due to the COVID jabs than all other vaccines put together since 2001. There have been 1.18 million adverse reactions to the jab in the UK alone, and it is deemed that only 1% are actually reported to the yellow card reporting scheme via the Vaccine Adverse Events Yellow Card Reporting Scheme, MHRA. Public Health England data shows the majority of COVID-19 deaths are among the vaccinated, and raises concerns that the vaccine worsens the death. Please realise that you are not deemed a fully vaccinated stat until you are 2 weeks post double jabbed. So therefore, when you see unvaccinated people dying, question they probably had the first one or reacted really quickly after the second one. There'll still be an unvaccinated stat. The stats are completely skewed as they always have been. We're not, I've got solutions, stay with me. We know it's an unlicensed vaccine. I'm preaching to the converted saying that it's an unlicensed vaccine in clinical phase 3 trials until 2023, and if you're taking it, you're participating in a medical trial, and so will your children be. They are not guinea pigs, they're kids. Children are not asymptomatic spreaders, as we've been led to believe. Check out the British Medical Journal study of 10 million people that showed there was no asymptomatic transmission. So if you're giving your child that jab because you want to protect somebody in your family, utter rubbish. Yeah! And you may have heard me speak before, so you may have heard me use the car seat analogy. So a children's car seat manufacturer offers you a free car seat and some free donuts to go with it. The seat hasn't been approved though. In fact, it's still in trial phases until at least 2023. It's caused over 1,500 deaths in the UK and 1.1 million injuries. The manufacturer has legal immunity even though they've paid out record amounts of compensation and fines. Are you going to use that car seat for a journey where 99.99% of people arrive safely without a car seat? Why do we even need it? So what's the solution? Because I am preaching to the converted here. You guys know all this anyway. I'm saying it because these videos are filmed, they get shared, people need to know this stuff. The solution is, whether you are masked or unmasked, whether you are jabbed or double jabbed, unjabbed, whether you take a test or you don't take a test, the common ground is they're coming for our children and we need to be in the way. This is the common ground. This is not time to keep the peace, to worry about what the headmaster thinks of you if you write a letter.
It's war!
Not the time for that, I'm afraid.
It's war!
It's the time to stand up and be heard.
It's war!
If you can, home educate your children. Get them out of schools, they're not safe. These teachers are being trained to recognise extremism, radicalised families and domestic terrorism. It is not a safe place for your children to be in schools right now. If you can't home educate, and trust me, I've started with my youngest and it's a lot easier than you think. Literally just deregister, look at local home ed communities, and there are so many families that are willing to just get together and help each other out. It's worth a try. Don't believe that it's difficult, because honestly, I'm having a ball. If you can't home ed though, write to your school. We've got lawyers that are putting templates together. You can check out the Lawyers for Liberty template. However, I would say about that one, it's an anonymous template and it doesn't name the child. Me personally, stick a stake in the ground, name your child, say who you are and say, I do not consent to this. So if you want a decent template where you can do that, then head to ukfreedomproject.org, where you'll find a template which is a 3-stage contract that you make with the school. And trust me, it's written amazingly by the People's Union of Britain, and we're having some brilliant results. Also, education. Raise awareness in every way you can. Get out and speak to people. Look at the outreach projects that are going on. If there's no outreach projects close to you, then you start one. Get your lot from stand in the park, go to local shopping centres, go to local parks, stand outside local schools, get onto the high streets, speak to people, hand out the safer to wait leaflets, tell them the facts that they're not getting elsewhere, because it could save a life. Obviously, we've now got rebels on roundabouts, amazing people who are standing on roundabouts with the banners. I've seen them in the crowd here. David Clues has got the banners that you can print out. Something else to start, because you're showing people the stats and the facts that they're not getting. The leaflets that you need to be handing out are the Safer to Wait leaflets or the Future Z. If you're on my Telegram page, which is Jaclyn Dunn, they are PDF and you can print them out and start distributing. Go door to door as well, because we had 1 million people on the streets of London. Imagine if 1 million people all decided to get out and leaflet their street, knock on the doors and speak to their neighbours. What an impact would that be? And imagine if we all did it on the same day. Britain would be wide awake by the end of that day. And please, if your children are still at school, speak to them about what they're about to face. They're going to be coerced, they're going to be brainwashed, they're going to have some peer pressure put their way. They need to know how to defend themselves, what to say that doesn't implicate you, because they are looking out for domestic terrorists under the policing bill. So they need to make sure that they're not talking about being anti-vax. All they have to say is, it's in clinical trials and we believe it's safer to wait. That's it. Please support the charity Consent, who are planning to do a High Court injunction to stop children getting vaccinated without informed consent. They have a crowd justice and they're looking for financial support, because obviously it's going to cost a lot. But you can also, if you can't afford to donate a little bit, you can raise awareness by sharing their charity, which is consent.org, and they're doing some amazing work and have been for the last decade. The government has spent huge amounts of time and money on training people in authority like teachers and influencers to make sure that they can know exactly what to say to coerce our children. We now must do exactly the same in reverse. As I said, they are coming for our kids and we are the last line of defence. We need to be in the way. If there's anybody here who's ever said, I'll do anything for my kids, now's the time to prove it. Thank you, Birmingham.